All right, bang. Today is Thursday. It's August 1st. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. I have an in-studio guest today. Today I'm joined by Vince Sliwa from a Windy City Garage. He also has the Instagram handle at Chicago Garage Builder. So if you've been listening to the show between this and the mid-show, you know I got a new garage and I've been talking a lot about it. This is the guy. This is the guy who built it. So Vince, welcome in. I'm excited to chop it up about garages with you.
Yeah, all day. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, a lot of people make fun of the Chicago people here for being so into their garages. So that's like an inside joke within Barstool.
Got it.
So just so you know.
Got it.
There was one of our guys tweeted something out like, oh, this is so Chicago about a garage party. And then one of the other guys, it was like KB, and he's like, yeah, garages, never seen them anywhere else besides Chicago.
Well, we have the alleys. We have the space.
Yes.
You know, other cities wish they had it.
Yeah.
When you first toured the garage for my other guy, Ed, you saw there was a Barstool guy who came from New York, mm-hmm. and he had mentioned how it was bigger than his apartment.
Yeah, you know? Yes, exactly. So needless to say, my point in all this is garages are a big deal in Chicago.
Absolutely.
They are a big deal. I even had people being like, why the fuck you talking about? I'm like, dude, this is how it is. Like most of us, if you grew up on the northwest side of the city, which I did and you did as well.
Absolutely.
Or the southwest side, you know, like a Mount Grid or a Beverly, like your houses like aren't that big.
Yeah.
So like it just becomes another hosting area in turn. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to bring you on here, chop it up, because I just found this whole process interesting. So first and foremost, like I'm gonna assume you didn't wake up and be like, I want to be a garage guy. So,
No.
Where did you start with houses? Like how did this all start?
Yeah. So when I was right out of high school, you know, I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was at Wright College on the northwest side, and one day I was like, I'm done with school. So I had a friend, her dad was a general contractor, and, talked to him about getting a job and seeing what he can fit me in with. Mm-hmm. And it was a group of carpenters, you know, and I loved it. Every day you wake up, it's like, you know, something athletic. You know, I played sports in high school, and I enjoyed, you know, working with my hands, and, mm-hmm. you know, the physical nature of the work never bothered me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I just got into it in that kind of way right out of school. Trained with some really good dudes and loved every minute of it.
So was it being a carpenter for garages specifically?
No.
Okay, so you were doing...
Yeah, it was remodeling. It was like I was up in an attic cutting out dormer space, or we were blowing out a wall, extending a kitchen.
Okay.
But there was a point where we did a garage. And it was a fresh slab, we're outside, fresh air, and I was hooked. I was like, I told the foreman at the time, I'm like, why don't we just do this every day? He's like, well, you can if you work for a garage company, or you could do your own. And so that kind of was like the seed that planted within me to say, like, this is what I want to do.
Okay, so you just like the openness of it, and that you didn't have to be like, hey, sorry, you can't use your kitchen for so many weeks.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, this is detached, like nobody bothers you.
Well, and that's the big part of it, right? When you start a renovation project in your home, people love you day one, right? Mm-hmm. They're bringing you coffee, they're bringing you donuts, lunch. By day 65 and change orders and all the add-ons, you're walking into a war zone sometimes. Why aren't they done? I can't live like this. Yeah. You know, they're over budget, you know, and you would be a part of that, you know? The garage is its own space. We're not disrupting the flow of your life. You don't have to shower in the basement, mm-hmm. cook on a hot plate. You know, it's you might have to park on the street, but your day-to-day routine is mostly undisturbed. So it's a little bit more laid back of a process.
I would say a lot more laid back.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, because you're just not dealing with people, which I'm sure for a lot of contractors is the most annoying part.
Yeah. So, but our biggest thing is like trying to stay, because garages are tight, alleys are tight. So we want to make sure we're being courteous to the garbage men, the neighbors, so people can kind of flow in and out. You know, in the higher, like Wicker Park, Bucktown, the garages and the alleys are pretty much like mini side streets.
Oh, yeah.
So that could be a little bit of a challenge and frustrating. And then Lincoln Park, forget it. They get garbage pickup every day. So every day you're having to like deal with that, moving the wood, moving the lumber, the concrete truck. It's a production.
Yeah.
It's a big production.
It definitely is, just seeing how you did mine and everything like that. But I even being just when you're not working, you know what it's like to pull in an alley and see it fucking blocked. You're just like,
yeah,
you got to back out, whatever. I'm sure you're more sympathetic to it now, because you're in that game. But yeah, there is differences where you're inconveniencing to an extent, but definitely not as much of an inconvenience as putting up plastic sheets around.
Correct. Trying to protect your artwork, your furniture, and your other stuff within your home. Yeah, no, we're outside making a mess, far away from your kitchen, your bathroom, and.
That's interesting, and that's why I always like to bring people like you on here who do regular blue collar jobs, because that's something as a someone who doesn't have that type of job would never think of. Yeah, but it makes sense, and I like your thought process on that.
Yeah, no, it's every project is an adventure, right? Like, it's a roller coaster ride. I do every day, like you podcast every day.
Yeah,
the next client jumps off, the next client jumps on. And, not every ride goes smooth, and you get your challenges along the way, but the end result is always the same. We make sure we focus on quality, service, making sure that we hit all the marks that the client set for us.
Yeah.
Bringing the client's vision to life is huge for us.
Yeah.
Because we're doing a little bit more of a custom design garages.
Yeah, and that's what I found so cool about working with you is I gave you a design that you had never used before. And we went through, obviously, with an architect, and everyone helped us, and it was a process that I didn't even know existed. Yeah. But a lot of people would probably be like, "Nah, we don't do that." But you're like, "Hey, like, get it drawn up and let's figure it out." And we did it. Yeah, exactly.
This is what I do.
Yeah, so that was cool. So then rewind it again. So you said you're like 19, 20, and you're working for this guy?
I was young. I was 18 right out of high school, 19.
So you're doing the grunt work.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Clean up, demo, I'd go home blowing black stuff out of my nose, spitting out dust.
Yeah.
And that's why when I, you do a garage, you come home a little dirty, but it's nothing like cutting into a 100-year-old house, breathing in 100-year-old dust, and blowing out your jeans on nails, and it's a little bit more. It's a cleaner process to do a garage. Yeah,
definitely. And then so you get to the point where you're interested in the garage game with the guy you were working for. When did you make it a reality? When you're like, hey, I'm just gonna do this?
Yeah, it was 2007. I want to say it was like during the Great Recession. A lot of the
timing.
Yeah, a lot of the remodeling businesses with the housing market, it was not there. The values of the houses, people aren't doing projects. So really, I transitioned into more of like doing garage doors, but I already had been trained to do carpentry, cut roofs, cut stairs, and it just was a transition from there. I started doing doors. People were like, oh, my soffits are broken. Can you repair the soffit? I'm like, oh yeah. Hey, I had a tree fall in the garage. A couple rafters are cracked. Can you do that? My grandpa hit the side of the garage. Can you fix this? And we started facilitating a need within the business that a lot of garage door guys won't touch. So then from there, it was like, hey,
why won't they touch that? Because it's too small, or?
It's just not their specialty, right? Okay. So like if you're doing garage doors, you're dealing with metal tracks, hardware kits, springs, cables. You're really not carrying around saws, nail guns, that kind of stuff. So you need special equipment to do both type of work. And I carried it all because I was just, that's what I had on my van. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of just like a natural thing to get into. People, oh, can you build a garage? This thing's really bad, because I would walk into some places where people are like, oh, can you repair the door? The garage is on a 45-degree angle.
It's like, buddy, you need more than
There's
a door.
Holes everywhere. Rats have been living in it, longer than the cars have been in it. So yeah, it was like the next step, I guess, into the business to do the garages.
Gotcha. So you start then, and you're just kind of a garage repairman, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then you take it over. You learn how to do new builds.
Well, yeah.
And then so when did you start doing like new builds?
I would say the new construction side probably started closer to like 2012, 2014.
Okay.
Is when we really started building garages.
So that's like you're all in.
Yeah. Oh man, that was the best. Like I said, you get your coffee, your lumber in the morning. You get to meet the clients, get all your tools plugged in, get the radio going. That's the most important tool. The radio, you can't work without it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was, you feel. People say, oh, do what you love. You never work a day in your life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when that is true and you find what you love to do, It's the most truest statement out there because I never feel like I'm working when I'm building garages.
Really?
Never felt like it was a day of work.
No shit.
It just felt like this is like your happy place or whatever joy you bring, you know, because as a carpenter, especially on the customs, you get to display your creativity, your artistic side. You know, when you throw a custom build at me and it's like something I've never done, it's like a challenge. And I'm like, I'm up for it. Let's do it, you know?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's rewarding on the other side because like you were at the block party 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You said that what I think over 100 people were in and out of that garage.
Oh, yeah.
I think everyone was coming up to you like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I think it was your uncle specifically who was like in the trades from the Navy.
Yeah.
He's like, you use the engineered lumber, the LVLs. Like he knew all the terms.
Yeah.
And me and him were kind of nerding out on that. We're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
this guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, because that's interesting because it was before you were done. He came up to me and he was like, you know, you got to make sure that he's got support beams across this and that. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just letting him do his thing. I trust whatever he's going to do, you know, because I could tell you how to work a microphone. I couldn't tell you anything about
absolutely.
fucking
But we
support.
passed his inspection that day.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So
that's good. Something I had a question on is you brought up springs. I've read before that garage door springs are like one of the most dangerous things.
They can be. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think, you know, with the right tools and the right training, you really have no danger to worry about. You still have to keep in mind, like, these have a lot of tension, a lot of torque. And if something goes wrong, yes, you can be on the other side of that.
Yeah.
But for like a homeowner, do-it-yourselfer, it's probably not a project you want to take on. You probably want to call a professional. We have come to places where like dudes will have like bandages or arms in slings. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Why is this like this? Oh, I gave it a shot. And now you're here, you know?
Yeah, because the spring is so...
Yeah, they counterbalance
strong.
the weight. Yeah. So whatever the door weighs, that spring is pulling right back.
Yeah, I think I forgot where I read that at. And it said if you're a homeowner, never fuck with your garage spring. Because if that thing recoils off, it'll rip your fucking face right now.
It'll cut you. It'll hurt you. It could break a bone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I
100%. Commercial doors, those are the ones that'll kill you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the big dock doors, the big warehouse doors.
Just fucking
done.
Slice you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's little, you know, that shit people don't realize.
Well, swinging from a roof, sheeting plywood, and doing shingles, that's dangerous too. You know, like building a garage has its own unique danger element to it. Mm-hmm. But one of the other reasons I love garages is because they're not really that tall. We're not building a house that's 50 feet in the air, exposed to that high wind and danger, you know, of falling or whatnot. Garages are, you know, typically lower to the ground and a little bit safer as a carpenter to work on. And it's cool because you get to work with every phase of a build. You get to frame it, you get to put the siding on it, you get to put the windows, the doors. So it's like you get to do all the elements of building a home on a very small version of it, you know? So
yeah, there's a lot of cool aspects like
that. I love it. Yeah.
What's like the number one thing people will request?
I think the biggest add-on for any garage build is the party door.
Okay.
Opening up that space into the yard, off the deck, off the back of the house.
I love that term, the party door.
Yeah.
I'm so universally accepted. What is it technically called?
Overhead door.
Overhead door.
But everyone calls it the party door. Everyone calls it the party door. Mm-hmm. I told you, you know, people have literally told me when we're done with garages, like, oh, I had a birthday party in here. I had my Thanksgiving dinner in here. So having that party door really just gives you that covered space and where you can entertain, set up tables, chairs, you know, and the elements won't really affect you too much, you know. So.
And now, am I wrong when I say that I feel like it got more popularized like in the last 10 years?
No, you're not wrong. I think COVID, when people were at home, couldn't leave their home, I would say we saw a spike in like the more custom garage catering towards that entertainment, that extra space you can get out of the house. You know, everybody was cooped up in the house. So I feel like that's when that stuff really started to take off. Yeah. You know, right around COVID. We were doing them before, but not on the scale now. And now it just seems like that seems to be kind of our bread and butter in the industry is like these custom party style garages. You know?
And how many party doors would you say you do a year?
Oh, Jesus. Party doors?
Yeah, just party doors.
Because we will put a party door on an existing garage and we'll do, I don't know, 50, 100, you know.
50 to 100?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd imagine. It's
we do a lot of doors a year.
And is that a one day job? Or
yeah. So if we're just cutting out the header and putting in a party door, we're probably out of there in an 8-hour day, from start to finish. And
Yeah.
if we have to move electric, it might carry into 2 days, but
That's what's nice too. You're having a party. You could, that Saturday you're in a crunch, like boom, boom, you're good to go.
yeah, put the party door in and open it up.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Start.
That's an interesting answer. I kind of assumed that would be that though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You took the garage tour, right? We went around. I gave you the Northwest Side finest garages, and you got to see all of the different builds. I think that's what makes us special is like the kind of clients we work for, they have a set vision, and a lot of them are just super cool, and they want to show it off. They don't mind if I bring clients there, and you got to go to probably 5 of the nicest builds we have done in the past 5 years. And everybody you met was,
over the moon about it.
Yeah. 5-star rated.
Exactly. They were very happy with everything. What about I think something people traditionally go back and forth on for a garage is epoxy or no epoxy.
Yeah.
Where do you
epoxy.
stand on that?
Yeah. You got to epoxy the floor. You're spending a premium already to build a garage. You're never going to get a warranty for concrete. Ice cream melts, concrete cracks. This is kind of like standard within the concrete company. The concrete company can change the mix, make more additives, but at the end of the day, concrete will still crack, it will pit, surface will wear. When you do the epoxy, you're preventing a lot of that, and you get a 10-year guarantee on it, and you did it. You can see the result of it. It's a really solid surface to park on, to work on, to party on, or whatever you want to do there. The epoxy is going to really seal and protect that slab for a long time.
Yeah, because I was initially like hesitant because I heard people say like you slip and you're fucking bust your ass every time.
Yeah.
But it's really not that bad.
Right. The mix we have to use is similar to like what they'll use at like an industrial warehouse or like a car wash or stuff like that. So it's going to have that non-grit surface. But we don't recommend like a smooth epoxy finish, which you'll see in basements, countertops. That's really never recommended for your floor surface. You're going to want something with some grit that's going to, when the snow melts, when you pull in and the rain came, you're going to be able to walk around and function in the garage without having to worry about that.
Yeah. Is there a point where you ever would recommend just straight up concrete over epoxy, or you're always like, hey, you got to go?
I always push the epoxy.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. If you're spending $30K or more already on the garage, to add the epoxy as an add-on, I think is huge.
And are you doing the epoxy?
So we use one of our guys in-house.
Gotcha.
And he does all of our garages. And you met Caesar. He's a great dude. In and out in a couple days. You're able to walk and park on it pretty much after 48 hours. We try to work. That's what separates us also is the team that we have, from our vendors, from our workers, contractors. We try to work with people who are passionate about their trade. When I was personally building the garages, like I said, it never felt like work, super passionate. And that's the kind of people we bring into the fold. We want people who are serious about it. It's a little bit of an art form. You're a craftsman and you want to make sure you're doing top quality for every client, regardless of what a custom garage or a regular garage, because we do those too. But you just want to give people the same experience as best you can. And I tell people all the time, we're imperfect people working with imperfect material, trying to build something perfect. We do our best to, again, hit the marks and make sure what we're giving you is at the highest quality of craftsmanship and whatnot. But, it's a blessing to have the team that we have. But
from start to finish, really, you're just in charge of the lumber and the siding and the roof.
So we are all in-house with our guys. So we'll do the demolition, the concrete work, the framing, the siding. That's all the carpenters. Gotcha. And then the garage doors, electric will be other guys coming in. And then if you add the epoxy, he comes in pretty much last man.
Because I'll tell you the craziest thing too, was just seeing how fast it was.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like, start to finish when you started building, I think it was 5.5 days.
About that, yeah.
And it was like ready to go.
Yeah.
It was truly stunning.
And again, that's a testament to the team that we have, and the workers and the work ethic. I think, any project or you hire a contractor, you don't know what to expect.
No.
Right? And it's like,
Some people are slow as shit.
Yeah.
Some people are fast. You're right.
So we kind of have a system in place that kind of, streamlines the process and keeps things moving as fast as possible. Obviously, the challenge in Chicago is we're working against the weather, right? So we get rain, we get snow, we get super hot days. We try to work as best we can through those days and through those times, but those are the things that will really slow down a build or slow down the timeline or whatnot. You got lucky with the stretch. It was like great weather that whole week, and we were able to rock and roll.
Now, is there a most difficult part? Like, what's the part where it's like, all right, this is day, if you say typical garage built is 6 days, right? Whatever, 5 days. Is there like, all right, like today's a roof day. Like, here's where fucking everyone, bites their lip and just gets to work. Is there a specific part, or it's all kind of like plug and play at this point?
Yeah, I think when you're passionate about it and it's what you love to do, I don't think the roof can be a little bit challenging, especially on a hot day, cold day. The shingles are heavy, but I think once you get started moving with it, it all just, again, it's a system. You just one at a time, and you just keep moving. I would say the most like challenging part of any garage build, I would say, is like the concrete work and the foundation work, because I was telling you before the show, we're doing some that are cut right into the side of a hill. So we're working with crazy elevations, making sure the walls are set properly before we could build on them. So that takes a lot of preparation and form work, and that will really extend the project quite a bit. If we're doing like a foundation wall versus just a floating slab, you're talking that could take a week and a half, and then we could start excavating and find, back in 1920 they had a slab underneath that, and then a slab underneath that. Those are really the only unknowns in what I do. We could see everything at the surface. We just can't see what's in the subsoil. But that's probably our biggest challenge on any job.
That's the toughest part.
Yeah.
What is existing there.
Yeah, I think the way it usually starts is it's a bid stage, design stage, kind of what we went through, and then from there, once we, get the permits and we sign a contract and whatnot, then it's, okay, here's the timeline, here's how we're going to do it. And I think we're pretty transparent about how things are going to go. And, we do have to give the concrete a little bit of time to set up before we go and drop the load on it. And then we do ask that you do not park on it for a little bit after that, after it's built. But, we really, like I said, we created a system for the process, and we try to follow it, every build, and we try to treat them all the same way,
Now, you're a Northwest Side guy, St. Pat's guy.
Yep. Go Shamrocks.
Yeah, so you got to answer this unbiasedly. Neighborhood in Chicago, which one is the craziest about their garages? I feel like this is a this is a toss up, because I want to say Edison Park, but don't fall asleep on Mount Greenwood. That's what I was going to say.
Mount Greenwood, they get down just like the Northwest Side. That pocket, I've done some crazy ones there. Same like you saw, we had a client who did like a teaser style bar, and it's a Northwest Side bar.
Yeah.
And it was legit insane how he did it, right? I mean, he had the top, he had the TV, the neons everywhere. I've seen that in Mount Greenwood. I've seen him go that crazy in Mount Greenwood too.
Okay.
So they're just as crazy as the Northwest Side at building a nice entertainment style garage.
So it's a diplomatic garage guy answer, tie between Edison Park and Mount Greenwood.
Well, yeah.
Thanks, Vince. Thanks for crowning.
I like Edison Park. That's my spot.
Yeah.
But the Mount Greenwood guys, they're just as nuts, man.
Yeah,
they like them bigger there too. Yeah,
no,
sure.
I knew that. So what is the, like, when you say I've seen some crazy garages, like what's a crazy garage?
A crazy garage is something with obviously a second story, ADU style, interior walls. It's going to have all the finished materials. It looks like a mini house. Mm-hmm. Those are probably going to be the craziest ones. I think like yours was kind of like a hybrid garage, that we never really had done that before. It was either one or another. So I think that's got to be up there, with trying to incorporate the design you wanted and bring it to life. A crazy garage, is usually going to be one that, is a little bit taller, has the second story storage area, some dormers. That's when it can get a little bit tricky, because some people, I want a shed dormer, but I want gables off the end. So you got to make valleys and peaks, and a little bit more complicated. So much cutting the roof.
Yeah. So much of this shit I was so Do you know what a dormer is, Lance?
No, I have no idea what that
See,
is.
dude, I was the same way. Like, I don't.
I had to bring him
Yeah.
and show him like dormered garages.
Yeah, I just don't know the construction game. So essentially, let me know if I explain this correctly. Cut me off if I'm wrong.
No, go for it.
So like a standard roof, whatever, if it's a flat roof or if it's a pitched roof, whatever, is you know the dimensions and you'll hit your head and shit. This basically you build like out of it.
Yes,
right?
you take the walls and you go outward.
Yes, so it's like if you look at mine, it's got a pitched roof, but then on the sides, rather than go straight down, they're up because it's dormered.
Oh, okay. That's actually nice. Yeah,
and
nice.
it gives you the flexibility to use the space, store stuff.
Gives you more room.
More room.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was like, what are you dormer, bro? I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And then finally I got to the point I was like, okay, like I get it after seeing a few. So yeah, so people get these dormer styled and they have their hangouts spots and
whatever they do.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be considered like a crazier garage.
Oh yeah, for sure. The standard Chicago style garage, like Chicago style hot dog, is your hip roof, 4 walls, garage door, and a window.
Yeah,
that's like your Chicago style hot dog. It's your Chicago style garage.
And how many people nowadays when they have you check out their garage are like, hey, I want this just to park my cars, what it's typically intended for, or hey, I want to make this like a hangout area.
So we get our clients are starting to be more on like the hangout party area type thing. I think you do get the clients who are like, I don't hang out in the yard. I don't hang out in my garage. I park my car and I go home and I go back inside my house. So we do get clients like that and we do build regular garages like that. But we really get excited when we get to like sink our teeth into something a little bit more unique, right? So like if you're an artist, you're probably going to get bored painting the same thing over and over and over. If that's what you do, you want something that's a little bit of a challenge, and I think that's why I transitioned more into doing the custom garages, because it's like I want to really show my craft or like ply my trade, whatever you want to say, show my art, because some of these things like Mario, the garage we did, the all black, we call it the Bat Cave. Shout out to Mario.
Yeah.
That one, you look at that belongs in a fine home building magazine.
It does.
It sets it apart. The Park Ridge build that you saw with the exposed beams and that Southern style porch, we love doing stuff like that. We're scared because the material's super expensive, and if we mess it up, we're cutting into our margins, but we never back away from it,
What's your biggest horror story when you messed up some type of supply like that?
Oh, yeah. I think garage doors can be tricky sometimes, and I think, they can be expensive. You drill or tap in the wrong spot, it's garbage. They don't take it back. So we've done stuff like that.
Yeah, he's here.
He's here. He knows all about that. I would say those are probably our biggest mistakes or whatnot. A lot of the siding and roofing shingles, that's really inexpensive.
Yeah.
Any kind of high-end door or window.
Where you crack into
Oh, dude, we're very careful. I've installed $20,000 patio doors.
Damn.
And you have to be, yes, in Lincoln Park.
So like that.
Oh, yeah. This was he lived literally, his backyard was Lincoln Park too, or like it was walking distance. Yeah. But we had to be so precise. They give you special screws, special tools. And if you miss that mark, you're messing up a $20,000 door. Nobody wants to mess up a $20,000 door. We have had people come in, like reps from Pella, or, we did one guy with a diamond pier, just to give us the tutorials to kind of guide us on site so we don't make those mistakes. Like I'm not shy to ask for help. If I see something is super intricate, super high end, a little help is a long way, Yeah,
that's a bad deal when something glass breaks and the pane or whatever. That sucks.
Well, Mike over here knows about that, right, Mike?
Yeah. You fucked up a big one before, Mike?
Yeah, there's those all view black glass garage doors.
Yeah.
At, like restaurants, there's no peripheral holes, so you
have to make your own.
You gotta go with your own holes, and if you miss it,
you could crack the glass. You could scratch the surface. It's
$4,000.
You've got a mic over there.
Yeah, so he was saying it was like if you couldn't hear him, he'd have a mic, but it was basically the doors for the restaurants. Yeah, what's that game like?
So
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, the restaurant doors, they're nice and they're nice to look at, but most of these garage doors, they have perforated holes where they show you where to screw into. These are just black pieces of metal and then glass on the inside, and they weigh about 200 pounds each. So once you get the first 3 on, you're okay, but you got to put the last one on. You're normally doing it by yourself. So if you miss it by an inch, half inch, the door doesn't come up right, the hinges start to make loud noises, and then Vince calls me back and says, "Hey, you're doing two garage doors for free next week."
Yeah,
we try to avoid that. We try to avoid that. As
but
best
no,
we
but like I mean, that's
nobody's perfect. Right?
That's not unique to garages. Like
No.
there's people who are doing fucking faucets, and they like broke a expensive ass
Countertops.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, exactly.
I like watching those fails where they're getting that big slab of granite and they crack it right in the homeowner's house.
Yeah, that's not unique to you guys at all.
No, I think a lot of the times we have pretty clear direction as far as like the construction side goes with building. A lot of the custom stuff will have plans.
Yeah.
And that makes it pretty much, we follow the plan.
What about like standard doors, not a party door? How much can those go up to?
What do you mean?
Like you said, $20,000.
Oh yeah, no. Mike, what would you say?
Custom door, you could go up to like 15,000. Depends on what supplier you use. Some suppliers cost a lot more. CHI is one of them. I believe, I don't know if they're an Amish company or what, but they're about $400 to $500 more per standard 16. Like what you got, it would have been another $700. But that's just because the quality is a little bit better. But
the Amish do a good job.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They build those cabinets right there in Madison Park.
Yeah, they do a good job.
I watched them work on the videos on Instagram or YouTube. They put together a hell of a structure.
Oh yeah.
They're like ants. There's like 500 of them.
Yeah.
They're doing the Lord's work there.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
hard work.
Is there like another like maybe finishing touch or something to a garage that makes it really stand out that you always recommend?
I think doing a hardy siding.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
the hardy siding is sharp.
Hardy siding, LP siding, some kind of like really, really decorative shake in the gable, or adding some windows for a little bit of flair, customization.
Top section glass,
Top
like
section
you got
glass.
on your party door.
That really,
four windows you could kind of see into.
Yeah. That's like the bling, right?
Yeah.
Wooden soffits and hardy trim. That stuff looks really sharp.
Yeah.
We're doing one in Wilmette right now, and I mean, I've had like 3 or 4 neighbors call me like, "Oh, that's my dream garage. How much? What are you thinking?
Mm-hmm. So what's like just obviously you said there's a lot of custom, but what can like a basic garage go for, and what could like a expensive one go
I would
for?
say a basic garage would start you're in the 20s, 25, 20 to 25 for your basic. And then from there, 6 figures for the big customs, and maybe more, depending on what it is. We have built custom bigger garages where people had priced out an ADU and they were getting prices like $200K or more.
No shit.
But we're talking full on house.
Yes.
Versus a garage, which is not a house.
Yeah,
so
it's a different ball game.
I think it can get expensive. It's all going to be on the square footage, how big you want it, how tall you want it, and what do you want to put on it.
Yeah.
That one in Lincoln Park in particular, like when the doors get that over budget like that, we get a little nervous because it's like really high end, really custom. They take forever to get. But yeah, those are the things that'll just drive the cost through the roof.
A lot goes into it.
A lot goes into it. We did one over in Garfield Ridge where the guy had those bifold doors like you have downstairs, where they just fold over, and I want to say that door alone cost more than all the lumber and siding on that project. So I mean, doors, windows, siding, your finished materials, lumber's lumber, shingles are shingles, but
there's really ways to keep it
yeah
less expensive versus really amp it
yeah
up, like
right
the wall.
Absolutely. The plastic vinyl siding is always going to be more budget friendly, because it just is. And then from there, a hardy board or LP or like a real finished wood, then it starts getting a little bit pricey.
Without sounding too advertising, what do you honestly believe is different between like a local family business like yourself versus like one of the big like garage producers?
I think what separates us is we stay connected to the community that we service and we serve. We gave a shout out to St. Patrick High School. I give back and stay within the community, sponsor Little League. I do a lot of things where money spent in the neighborhood gets back in the neighborhood to some capacity as best I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that and building up the client relationships. I mean, I was telling you a story earlier. We did a professional testimonials with a production company. And after like the third testimonial, the guy pulled me aside. He's like, Vince, I'm blown away at this. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, every testimony you have given me to go shoot, it's genuine. It's like real. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Because I don't know anything about this. It's not my expertise. He's like, they weren't paid actors. They weren't family members. They were like legitimate clients, and they were excited about the service, the quality, and just, he's like, whatever you're doing is organic, and whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I think,
maybe like I'm not naming anyone in particular, but like a big corporation.
Yeah, we have a more intimate relationship with the clients.
Not being like a number.
Correct.
For someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you. But obviously that makes sense.
Yeah.
Local business for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, those guys don't really keep it in house like we do. We have one crew, two crews. Those guys will just kind of subcontract.
You don't really see them again.
Yeah.
The original person.
That's what I like about doing the doors is I'm the last person at the fresh build, so I can kind of gauge how it went, and 95% of the time it's, oh my God, you guys, I can't wait to get these doors in. Everything came along so well. Joe, Vince, whoever the salesman was, they're like, oh, they're held their hand the entire way. And it's good to work for a company where people are happy when they're done spending, $40,000-$50,000 or whatever the price is,
Yeah,
totally.
Absolutely. The team. It's about the team. I tell Mike, we talk about it. I compare our company to, we're like the 96 Bulls, 72-10. Everybody serves their role, and we just keep winning,
Good.
So
good.
That's, big Bulls fan, big Jordan fan.
That's good. What is your, what's the biggest challenge in making garages though? Like is it
it can be permitting with the villages or the city. The city has changed things in the past year with their portal and making it a lot more user friendly. Shout out to all the city building inspectors and building commissioner for updating the system. They did self-certification with architects, so that has streamlined the process to actually get a permit. So we're seeing that the turnaround is a lot quicker. But on your more affluent suburbs, they can get really, really, really hairy.
Particularly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The soft cost on a suburban North Shore garage could be $5,000 to $10,000, and you haven't swung a hammer yet. Oh, wow. And it just depends on what kind of plans, drawings, or whatever it is they want you to get before you actually break ground. So those are, the biggest hurdles. Once we get the permit and we're ready to go, that's our sweet spot. Yeah. We're ready. We're chomping at the bit. It's game time. So getting to that point and that anticipation and the build up to it, that I would say permitting.
And I just assume too that people put it on the back burner. Like people are like, if it's not in the house, like people like take priority in the house.
100%.
Which is understandable.
Yeah, we have to get a little pushy sometimes, to get the things moving. Yeah. But I think once the process gets started and people see, like you said, how fast it goes, most people are amazed that, oh my gosh,
it's here.
You did my garage in a week.
It's here. Yeah.
My kitchen took 3 months, so.
But that's what's cool though, where it's like if you want an area to watch sports or entertain or whatever, like you're making an addition onto your house. That's the way I looked at it. Yeah. It's like now I have an extra room to do that.
It's an extension of the home. I think that's one of the things we really focus on with the clients, with the custom builds. This is not just the garage. This is going to be a place where, like Jim was a good example with the sports bar. This is a place where he's going to watch Sunday football with his sons forever. It's a place where he's going to have Christmas parties. And, it really can be an extension of the home, so. And it's nice to not clean up the house, right? Keep the mess outside.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah. I learned that from the block party for sure. Was there a roof deck's a pain in the ass?
They go through a more stringent permitting process.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they're not. I mean, once everything is passed and we're ready to go and break ground, as long as you follow the plans, you do what you're supposed to do, they go pretty quick.
Fine.
I just think, again, with a roof deck in particular, it's just you have to follow all the codes, make sure you're doing everything to the spec. But once you do that, I think, the inspectors are there for the benefit of the contractor. They're there for the benefit of the homeowner, making sure everybody's doing things on the up and up. And as long as you're following the plans, everything's cool.
It.
If it's when you try to like deviate or make changes, that's when they're like, hey, what's going on here?
And then what's your season?
So we start typically pouring cement in March sometimes, depending on weather. And we will build up until this past couple years. We've been building till about February, because it'll be like right around Thanksgiving, we need to get all the slabs down. So we go crazy with the concrete end of fall, early winter. And we'll pour as long as the weather permits. And then we just build throughout the winter mostly. But yeah, the season I would say is a good 10-month season.
10 months.
Yeah, I would say January, February they get a little cold.
So what's a garage guy do in January and February?
I'm working.
Well, we're booking garages all winter.
Yeah.
So as far as like the sales and my side of it, I'm meeting clients all winter.
Yeah.
Because spring garages are booked in the winter.
Yeah. Okay.
But as far as like the builders and stuff, we do a lot of repairs. So in Chicago, we get a lot of snow. It gets icy. People hit garages. People knock into them.
Yeah.
So there's always repair work. A lot of the repair jobs that people call me throughout the year, we kind of book those for those months to kind of dedicate a little bit of work for the guys.
Party doors, we do a lot in the winter.
A lot of those in the
Those
winter.
are good in the winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we stay busy. The garage door repairs, he'll tell you, there's not enough garage door guys when the winter hits. It's like everything breaks. Everything breaks.
No shit.
The motors, the springs, the rollers.
I always find that interesting. I had a pool guy on here a couple summers ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, there's no pool guys. Like, there's like, we're fucking
No garage.
working our ass off. Yeah, so there's no garage guys. It's hard.
Well, to keep up with that volume when it comes in, like when we get the polar vortex, this dude's working like sun up to sundown.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I bet.
Yeah.
It's broken springs, it's broken cables.
Another heads up for your listeners: if it's like polar vortex like it was last year, a lot of the garage doors will stick to the floor.
That's a thing.
And then they'll rip out the motor. They'll mess everything up. So if you get a chance, pull that red cord and try to lift it up manually in the winter when it gets that cold.
Yeah.
That's a nice move by you, Mike. You could just let people go and you could have kept the business. But that's
And that's why
They're going to do it anyway.
We are who we are.
Yeah, but they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah,
Most
yeah,
people
yeah.
wake up, they're not going to go test the door.
yeah.
They're going to press the button,
yeah.
and then they're going to have to call somebody.
Well, that also happened. People will be, oh, my garage door, I just need it fixed. I know the rest of the garage is going. I say, all right, well, we'll do the temporary fix now. Here's Vince's number. Call him when you got, $10,000, something to put down on a new garage, and then we'll revisit this in a year or two when you got some money saved away.
What's the like? Is there like a certain temperature? Or like, could people look at it and realize like, hey, don't open this shit?
Yeah, like when it's
Polar vortex is pretty,
that's
pretty
pretty
obvious.
blatant,
yeah.
It's cold.
But yeah, pulling in, always try to salt right in front of your garage.
Yep.
I know it's bad for the apron and the concrete, but if you slide out and then what mostly happens is people hit garbage cans and then they just keep driving because they hit the garbage can down and the garbage can hits their neighbor's garage door. That and then 4th of July is a big one because people will set off half stick of dynamite, not knowing it's going to blow up both the garage doors next to it. And I get a call for 2 garage doors, July 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. That's money.
And then the neighbors hate each other.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a problem.
That happens.
That's a problem.
We see a little bump in business too around there because obviously the fireworks and the fires and
Yeah.
a lot of the business, side of what we do, the work's created for us, whether it's a tree falling on a garage, a fire, a car crash, snow, roof collapse.
Yeah, that's not can't avoid that.
No, and
That's just the way it
so
is.
there's always going to be garages that need to be built regardless of time and whatever.
Yeah. All right then. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up here?
No, shout out to Vince. I've been with him for 7-8 years now. Haven't really left the company for a reason.
There we
We
go.
got a good crew of guys just trying to hone in on the northwest side and really all of Chicago, I guess. Anywhere we go, Chicago suburbs, anywhere.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I'd like to, again, the teamwork aspect. I got guys like Mike who are passionate about what they do. My builder, Ramiro, all my vendors and suppliers. I mean, we have a really good team. We've assembled a good team.
Yeah.
96 Bulls.
It's important. 96. That's high.
That's high.
You could have just said a different place.
No. We're
That's so
96.
good.
It's 96.
All right. Fair.
That's it.
Fine. But yeah, like you said, like all advertising aside, I'm just going off what I saw. Like I love the experience working with you guys. So did a great job. Couldn't recommend these guys more if you're out there listening, looking for a garage. So much so, actually, like I was like, what, hey, the first 3 people that get a garage, let me know. I'll bring you a case of Miller on me.
There we
First
go.
case of Miller, new garage, let me know. Hit me up, and I'll give you a case. I'll hand deliver it to you. Case of Miller from me.
Mention Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. All right then, Vince, Mikey, appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank
One more time at windycitygarage.com.
awindycitygarage.com, at Chicago Garage Builder for Instagram.
Boom.
You can search
Awesome.
both of them. They'll both come up.
They'll both come up. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. All right, everybody. That's it for today. That's it for this week. We'll see you guys on Monday.